Alabama hosts the Iron Bowl for bragging rights in this one. This is not one of those games that we've seen in the past where the winner will go to the college football playoffs. No, not quite, but this should be a pretty good matchup. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Slasher U. I'm your host, Christian Rao, here with my co-host, Steve Feck, and we're going to break down Alabama taking on Auburn. And Steve, at the beginning of this season, we were swearing up and down, waiting for Brian Harsin to be relieved. There was a moment where you thought that it was going to happen before the Iron Bowl or maybe right after. Well, it happened before, way before. Auburn is looking to get their sixth win of the season. I think that is probably one of the most interesting things in this matchup. As for Alabama, on the other hand, 9-2 in this one. They've lost some good games. However, I do believe that they are out of the college football playoff picture since they're not going to be battling for the SEC championship. This game is all about bragging rights. This is really their biggest bowl game, if you will. Now, they're each going to probably we're definitely going to see one in Alabama. If Auburn can get the win, we're going to see a bowl game from them. But this is a way to maybe resurrect Auburn's season, if you will. A 6-6 record with a final win against Alabama will change the entire perspective on a brand new coach coming into this program.
Absolutely. And honestly, I went to 3 different sites to make sure that Auburn had a chance for a bowl because I just didn't believe it. That's how bad they played. But since you're talking about the coaching situation before we break down this game, how insufferable will it be if Lane Kiffin gets the job at Auburn?
Well, according to him, that was not a good source for that thing that was passed out. He even retweeted or quote tweeted. Now, if you're new to this, there was a report that Lane Kiffin was going to be leaving and moving to Auburn as new coach. He actually went out and rebutted it himself, quote tweeted it on Twitter, and stated that that is not true. Laughed at his sources because the actual source, aka Lane Kiffin, said that it could be all a facade. Maybe he doesn't want that coming out now. Maybe it's still in the works. We don't know. However, that news is not correct as of now. So we think, Steve. Right.
Pinocchio knows. Lane Kiffin.
Interesting.
I think Lane Kiffin, I only take Lane Kiffin at his word when I know he's lying. Because most of the time he's lying. But, it's something that would it be a good fit for Auburn to rebuild the program? For a couple of years it would. But it would take, I'm not sure I could watch an Alabama-Auburn game.
It'd make Auburn and Ole Miss a real fun rivalry, that's for sure. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into
this. I don't know that Ole Miss will miss him.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one. Honestly, I am just going to take it as I see it in that one because when it happens, it happens. I believe that these head coaching jobs are going to get filled a lot quicker than we think. I believe that before the national championship is over, we're going to have new head coaches in all those Power 5 systems because recruiting and transfer portal windows are closing and they close a lot faster than we see. So I think that's going to happen. I think Auburn probably already knows their guy, whether it's Kiffin or not, but they're going to wait to announce it probably until after this game. If they are bowl eligible, maybe they'll wait till after the bowl game. Who knows? Regardless, let's dig into this game. Alabama is a 22-point favorite, and I don't know if I believe that's too high or too low or not because I think there's a lot to prove of this Bama squad. Obviously, they know that they're going to be sitting out of the college football playoffs. They have a slim chance to make it. I don't think it's there. With the loss to LSU, even though they sit number 7 in the rankings, I'm pretty sure that they're done. Let's put a fork in them, right? However, this team is still Alabama. We know this might be one of the worst Alabama teams we've seen in probably half a decade, maybe even longer. However, it's still Alabama. Nick Saban is still the head coach. This team can play football. And when you look at this Auburn squad, they've had a tough go at it. They've won their last 2. However, it's against Western Kentucky and Texas A&M, but they've won their last 2. They go into this game probably the best prepared they can be given all the situations, all the circumstances, everything that's happened so far this season. 22 points, Steve. That's my biggest question. Do you think Bama can cover? Or you think Auburn makes it a game at least for a little while?
The only way that Auburn makes this a game is that, and it's almost like a double-edged sword, if they can totally shut down the passing game downfield and forces Alabama to run, I think they could keep it closer and make it a game at least for a while. But do you really want Alabama to run the ball on you and control the clock? So it's almost like damned if you do, damned if you don't. In a contest like this, I mean, I don't see any way that Auburn. I don't even see how they cover. Maybe it's a close game at halftime, which would be good for all of us that are going to be watching this game because it's such a traditional rivalry, and it's just one of those games where you say, "Oh, I'm not going to watch it," and then sure enough, even if you miss the opening kickoff, within 5 minutes you're watching the Auburn Alabama game. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, I could fool myself and say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm not watching it. I'm going to watch whatever. I'm
Yep.
going to watch." Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Grinch Stole Christmas. No, I'm going to watch Alabama Auburn.
Well, you would be authorized to do that because it is after Thanksgiving, so that's something to keep in mind. You can watch those Christmas things now. However, I agree with you. I think we are going to watch this game. I think that's a game that's going to be on CBS 3:30 Eastern time. Alabama is just I mean, this is a team that for the majority of the season we were talking about being in the top 4 ever since they, lost to Tennessee. Even when they did lose to Tennessee, we're like, well, Bama will find a way to get back in there. That loss to LSU obviously hurt them. Even though this is probably one of the worst teams we've seen in Bama in a very long time, Nick Saban knows what he's doing. And we've seen this. A lot of people think he's lost touch with the past, and maybe these NIL deals is changing the way these players are. Don't read into that too much. This guy knows what he's doing. However, this team is not very disciplined. We've seen that all season long. There are some penalties. I think that is what keeps Auburn in the game. If anything, is Alabama shoots themselves in the foot, if you will. With some messed up penalties, with some turnovers, if you will. Not from Bryce Young, because we haven't really seen that. He's only thrown 4 interceptions all year. However, I'm with you. I don't know if Auburn can cover this spread. As much as I know that they have a lot on the line, they're going to play really hard. They've been playing really hard for Cadillac. I think they really like him as a leader. I don't think he's going to be the coach, but I think
No.
that he's going to be a very strong part of that organization for a very long time, whether it's in the coaching or it's somewhere outside. However, they're playing really hard for him, but I don't know if they're going to be able to play good enough to get that spread. I think Alabama wins big in this one. We're going to see that happen in Tuscaloosa. 100,000 strong are still going to show up to this game for the Iron Bowl. It's going to be a fantastic one. Let us know your thoughts, Steve.
But just real quickly, yes, okay, Alabama's making a lot of mistakes. That's the one thing that Nick Saban can't control is players' behaviors or thought processes on the field. But I will argue that this was one of Nick Saban's best coaching jobs since he's been at Alabama.
Okay. All right.
I think coming in, I think he knew the team was flawed. I think that he knew that maybe that he would get outgunned against certain opponents. And for him to keep Alabama, because even in the games they lost, for the most part, they were in it. They
Oh,
were
yeah.
in every game.
Till the
I,
the last second.
yeah. I mean, I really think, especially the defensive side of the ball, I thought some of the schemes that he came up with, even when they failed, against a team like LSU or Tennessee, I really think this was one of his best coaching jobs because he knew coming in that he didn't have all the guns that he's had on some of his national championship teams.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Let us know your thoughts in the prediction below. Who do you think is going to win the Iron Bowl? Do you think Auburn can cover the spread? Are we not giving Auburn a chance? Do you think that we're not being? You think we're being unfair, or do you think that we are being exactly where your thoughts are as well? Let us know in the comments below. While you're there, hit like and subscribe if you will, and thank you as always for watching Slasher U.